One of the governor's top challengers in the recall election in San Diego today, making a final pitch to local voters.
2 weeks into the school year, talking with one of San Diego Unified's leaders about the ups and downs so far and how they've handled early cases of COVID.
And it is another hot one. I'll pinpoint the heat advisory that has been extended through the weekend and where and when we may see showers and thunderstorms today. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Hello there. Thanks for joining us. I'm Virginia Cha. The gubernatorial recall election just 4 days away. The candidates are hitting the campaign trail hard to try to secure more votes from Californians.
And I'm Jim Patton, and some of those campaign trails leading to San Diego today. Candidate Larry Elder was in Vista this morning.
ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes joining us live from there. Natay, he made a couple of stops in our county this morning.
Jim, Virginia, good afternoon. Gubernatorial candidate Larry Elder made his first stop here at a local restaurant in Vista. He also voiced his opinion about the recent vaccine mandates announced by President Biden. Now, Elder says that he is vaccinated and he encourages others to get the vaccine, but he also says that it should be their choice to do so.
When I am elected, not if, but when I am elected, to the extent that there are still mandates for state workers, I'm going to repeal those. Right now, this governor has required every state worker who's not been vaccinated to be tested once a week and to wear a face mask at work. When I become governor, one of the first things I'm going to do is to repeal that mandate.
Now, the candidate says if he is voted into office that he would make some changes to our state policies. Elder visited Mariscal El Pacifico restaurant Friday morning, and he shook hands and ate breakfast with local community members. All this before his next stop in Paradise Hills, where he met with local Latino pastors. Now, according to an ABC 10 News and SD Union Tribune poll, 54% of likely recall election voters want to keep Governor Gavin Newsom in office. But if the governor was to get recalled, the polls show Elder in the lead with 29% of votes compared to the other candidates. And there is a total of 46 candidates on the gubernatorial recall election ballot. In Vista, Natay Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Natay. Meanwhile, this morning, Governor Newsom is casting his ballot up in Sacramento. That's after getting backing from some high-profile Democrats, including the president, who is campaigning in California next week. We're going to have more on that later. Right now, local businessman and recall challenger John Cox is holding another event here in San Diego. Our latest poll shows him in third place among the challengers, but with a lot of ground to make up on Larry Elder.
And we have had conversations with John Cox and Governor Newsom recently. We've been interviewing as many of the candidates on the ballot as we can to help keep you informed. And you can watch all of our interviews of the leading candidates in the recall election on our streaming channel 24/7. Just download the ABC 10 News app to your favorite device. Well, more progress on the vaccine front. Pfizer and BioNTech say that they're getting ready to request full approval from international regulators for children as young as 5. Late last month, the drug maker's COVID vaccine got upgraded to full approval in the U.S. for people as young as 12. Earlier this summer, Pfizer said it could seek FDA approval for younger children by October. And they suggested that again today, that in the weeks ahead, they'll be sending data from trials on children to regulators around the world.
San Diego Unified, the county's largest school district, is wrapping up its first 2 weeks of school. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell is live with an update on how their COVID protocols are holding up. What did you find out, Marie?
Well, Virginia, on the first day of school, district health officials said they would not be able to keep COVID-19 out of the classrooms. But if it did make its way in there, they did have a plan to keep it from spreading. They say at this point, their plan has been successful. It's now been 2 weeks since students in the San Diego Unified School District returned to their campuses, where they found a number of changes to the district's COVID-19 protocols. From being required to wear masks while indoors and outdoors, to more hand washing stations and upgrades to their ventilation systems. School Board President Richard Barrera says they've had 172 students and 28 staff members who have tested positive for the virus.
We do have positive cases. We know that in San Diego County and in the communities around our schools, we are seeing continued large numbers of people testing positive for COVID. And so we are identifying both students and staff who have tested positive on our campuses.
Barrera adds there has been one school that's reported an outbreak.
The Mira Mesa High School football team had, more than 3 cases of positive tests of, people who'd been in close contact with each other. And so, we went ahead and canceled, the football activities. The saddest moment for us in the opening of school has been the passing of the Mira Mesa High School football coach, Chris Thompson, who did test, was positive for COVID.
Barrera says while it has only been 2 weeks of in-person learning, he believes the protocols they have in place are working. They've been able to identify cases and have been able to use their contact tracing to determine those who may have been exposed.
We think, the strategies that we have in place are the right strategies, the effective strategies. But we continue to be challenged by the reality that all of us are facing, which is, the continued surge of COVID with the surge of the Delta variant.
I also asked Barrera about a possible vaccine mandate for the students who are eligible. He says this is something the board will still have to discuss. Live outside the Board of Education, Marie Coronel, ABC 10 News.
Marie, thank you very much. And we asked Barrera that question in light of the decision by LA Unified, which will require all students 12 and up to get vaccinated to attend in-person classes. LA Board passed the new policy unanimously. Students must receive their first dose by November 31st and their second by December 19th. Now, students who participate in extracurricular programs have a much earlier deadline to get their first dose. That's October 3rd. LA Unified is the second largest school district in the country with more than 600,000 students.
All right, let's talk about the weather, you guys. The heat is on.
It certainly is. I went for a walk this morning and it was already hot. It's just hot, it's pretty humid, and it's gonna stay hot through the weekend. In fact, let's go to the temperatures right now. Along our coast, pretty nice. We're in the 70s though. Downtown already near 80 degrees. We're near 90 in Ramona right now, 91 in Warner Springs, 90 in Campo, and near 100 in the deserts. The next few hours, we're gonna warm into the low to mid 80s along our coastline. Inland neighborhoods, low to mid 90s this afternoon. Just as I mentioned yesterday, expected that heat advisory to get extended, and that's exactly what happened. At this point is now in effect through Sunday, may get extended again through Monday. Temperatures in the orange in the inland and in the mountain areas, we're looking at 90s through the weekend. And last night certainly was an active one. Check out this video we have from the thunderstorms that we saw moving into our coast and inland neighborhoods. Did you hear it? I felt very lucky. So many times I feel like my house misses out on the action. Ran outside, there was just a little bit of rain reported with it. I think the highest total I saw was about 11/100ths of an inch. So not a lot of rain, but definitely a lot of lightning with this system. As I get you back to our satellite and radar, that's what it looked like overnight. I'll let it loop one more time because it was very impressive. Again, not a lot of rain, but a lot of thunderstorms. I'll pinpoint where we may see thunderstorms this afternoon when I come back with your full forecast. Jim?
All right, look forward to that. Thank you, Megan. Nearly 20 years ago to the day, this is what downtown Manhattan looked like. Soot, rubble, and despair blanketing the heart of New York City in the wake of the 9/11 attacks.
Today, Ground Zero looks much different. For many Americans who remember that day, some scars still remain. And as we approach the 20th anniversary of those attacks, ABC's Rena Roy looks back and at what has changed since.
It began like any other day, but in just minutes, America was forever changed.
This is at the World Trade Center, and there has been some sort of explosion.
Of the last 25 people out of the World Trade Center's South Tower, Florence Jones was number 18. The plane hit just one floor above her.
I realized if I had stayed up there, I would have been dead. People that I knew were 100 plus stories up were hanging outside of the window, and I watched them. They were making a sign of the cross, holding hands, and jumping. To me, those people were heroes.
The names of the 2,977 people who were killed will be read out loud Saturday, exactly 20 years after their lives were cut short. One of them, Florence's friend, Jill Maurer Campbell.
I always remember Jill's smile. I try never to think about the way she died.
American flags taking over the west lawn of the Ohio State House in honor of each victim. The catastrophic attacks launching America's longest war. It would take 10 years before the U.S. killed the man responsible for the attacks, the head of al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden. With the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan and the government now run by the Taliban, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin worries that al-Qaeda will regenerate, saying he has put the Taliban on notice that they should not allow that to happen.
The threat today is different than what we faced 20 years ago. It has evolved and morphed, and in some ways we are in a better place, but in other ways it's more complex.
Officials here in New York say security has been stepped up, but they do stress that there is no credible threat. President Biden will be here tomorrow at the remembrance ceremonies to pay his respects. Rena Roy, ABC News, Lower Manhattan.
And ABC News will air a live special tomorrow on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. America Remembers from 5 to 10 tomorrow morning here on ABC 10.